So, good evening, people, and welcome to Cooking on the Corsican. This week I've got a request to do soup again. I know people are going to think, oh my God, you've done soups over the last few weeks, but I've been asked to show my Scotch Broth Soup. But I thought what I would do is the night before, I would just show you how I start. In my large stock pot there is a very large chicken. And all I've done is put that in water with some salt. I do stick a couple of chicken stock cubes in it, and I bring it to a very gentle simmer, and I leave it like that for 2 hours. It's almost poaching. And then I turn it off and I leave the chicken in there until it is completely cold. And then I take it out and I take all the meat off the bird and throw everything else away. And the stock is put in the fridge, and in the morning I skim all the fat off it, and then I make my soup with the beautiful chicken stock, which has got no fat in it at all, so it's really low calorie. Now over here, I'll show you a bit more about this tomorrow. In that bowl there I've got broth mix soaking. It needs 12 hours, I do it a bit longer. But I'll go into that a bit more tomorrow when I'm showing you the soup. But I just thought I would turn on for 5 minutes and just show you that couple of little bits there. The hound's down there. I don't think the camera's focusing on him. He's had a carrot, so he's quite happy. He does love a carrot. Anyway, people, it's Friday night, it's 9 o'clock, and I'm going to watch a bit of telly. I shall see you tomorrow and show you the rest of this Scotch Broth Soup. Good night for now. So, good morning, people, and welcome back to the vlog. We started this last night, as you know. I was explaining to you about the chicken. So here is the stock, exactly what I said I'd done. We took the chicken out when it was cold. It's all been stripped and everything else flung away, and the stock's been in the fridge overnight and skimmed, so this will be very, very low calorie. This vlog is for John, by the way, John Howard, I believe his name is, and he wants to know how to make my Scotch Broth Soup. So I'm going to show him. So I'm going to get right on, because it takes a bit of time to make Scotch broth, which I'll explain to you why in a minute. Now basically in here I've got some swede or some turnip. I've got 3 celery sticks. I've got 2 large leeks. I've told you all this before in other soup vlogs. I've got 2 onions, and I've got onions, celery, leeks, and this little bit of turnip, and that is this magic mixture, and that all goes in to the pot there. And the pot had in it, again as in other soup videos I showed you, it had a tiny little bit of oil, a couple of tablespoons, and a knob of butter. If you really wanted to make this soup very, very low for like people, you know, it might be on some kind of diet, you could just use some olive oil and no butter, because this stock's very low and there's nothing in vegetables. Okay, so that is my magic mix on the go. We shall let that sweat down. In here I've got some carrots that we've already grated as well. There's 3 carrots in there grated. Okay, now I am just going to add a little bit of salt, but not too much. That'll be enough. And I'm also going to put in some pepper. And I'll get onto these pulses now. Making a broth mix, if you can't get any, because not all supermarkets sell it, but you can buy lentils. I think those are the type of lentils that you would need. And you also can buy the split peas. You can get them in green or yellow. You can buy barley, and you can buy marrow fat peas. And they're all the things that go in to a Scotch broth mix. So that would be peas, lentils, barley, and marrow fat peas. And that all comes ready made as a mix. Now, the same size of bag as this, and for the pot of soup I've made, it's exactly the same size of bag. You use about 3/4 of that bag, and you put it in water overnight and let it steep. And that's all you do, and that's been steeping overnight as I showed you last night. So I've explained all that to you. If you can't get it, you can make it, but if you look about, you should be able to get it in most supermarkets. We were buying it for a long time, and then suddenly it disappeared off the shelves, but it seems to have come back now for some strange reason. Who knows the secret of the Black Magic box? So this is, as I told you, this is my two leeks, 2 onions, 3 or 4 celery sticks, and a little bit of swede. You don't need to put the swede in. I put it in just because, to be honest with you, we're having carrot and turnip with our dinner this evening, and there's a little bit of the swede left, so I thought, well, let's put it in the soup. You know me, I'm all for using things up, and if I had anything else there, I would put it in, because that's the kind of guy I am. I'll reflect back onto the last video I put up about the Scotch eggs. I had 1 or 2 questions which I'll answer in this video rather than writing them up all over the place. Somebody said, can you shallow fry them? I think that was Grendel. You could shallow fry them. It wouldn't be something that I would recommend that you do, because you would have to constantly keep turning them and turning them and turning them. And to be honest with you, it wouldn't make any difference to the calorific value of the egg whether you shallow fried it or deep fried it. As for putting them in the oven, yes, you could. You could get a tray and put a piece of greaseproof paper over it. You give it a little spray with some of these sprays that you get, these oil sprays that you get, they're very low in calories. Set the eggs on them and give the eggs a bit of a spray with these sprays. I don't use them, so I don't know what they're called, but I'm sure you've seen them in the supermarkets. And then you would put them in the oven, equivalent of 180 degrees, what I think is gas mat 5, and they would probably take about 25 to 30 minutes. The only thing, they wouldn't probably look as nice, because what will happen is while they're cooking in the oven, they'll flatten off, so what you'll have is a flat bottom on them. But they would work. If you didn't want to deep fry them, they would certainly work. But the thing about a Scotch egg is it's got sausage meat in it, and that's not particularly good for you anyway. So if you don't make them that often, to be honest with you, they really are better if you deep fry them in nice clean oil, let them drain off. They're absolutely beautiful. The other thing I'll touch on as well, which I never, is do make sure you buy good quality sausage meat. That was the one thing I didn't say. That stuff I bought to make them when I'd done them was made by a company called Krask, well known in Norwich and very good quality. Don't make them with cheap sausage meat, because you get what you pay for, don't you? Anyway, back to the soup. Everything, as you can see, 5 minutes is all that's been, and you can see that is starting to sweat down beautifully. There you go. Steve's just panning in there to show you. It's not quite ready yet. And as I explained to you, you know, people say, oh, why can't you just throw all this in, throw the stock in, throw everything in, bring it to the boil? You can. But what you're doing here is you're creating some flavour. Sweating all these vegetables and everything off, you're creating beautiful flavour in the soup. And that's why we do it. So there you go. I think I've covered all the things that I wanted to say. I've actually got this little cooker flat out, so that this really does sweat off beautifully. I mean, this is going to make quite a nice big pot of soup. You'll easily get 10 portions, easily. And of course you've got all that beautiful chicken, which you you know, you can have through the week, you know. And again, because that chicken's been poached and all the skin's been taken off it, and there's very, very few calories in it. You know, boiled chicken or poached chicken is something that's very, very good for you. So, you know, you've got that whole chicken to use up through the week. So it's kind of a no-brainer. That was a particularly good chicken we bought. I think we got 150 off. I think it was £8 because it was a really nice one. And we got a bit off it. If you add the rest if you add up the rest of what you've got here, vegetables and bits and pieces, you've got all that for a tenner or under. You're going to have 10 big portions of soup or more, and all that chicken to eat through the week, sandwiches, salads, whatever you want to do with it, for a tenner. I mean, that's a no-brainer. No-brainer. One of these little cartons of soup, I think, is about over £2, you know, and it certainly won't taste nothing like this is going to taste, let me tell you. Right, so we're getting underway here. That's been sweating down now for 5 minutes or so. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my carrots in. Carrots in. Some of you might say, well, we never see Jeff chopping up carrots and all that. Well, I'm chopping up vegetables. I'm sure that's the last thing people want to see is me sitting here boringly chopping vegetables. I'm sure people out there know how to chop vegetables, and I don't need to, I'm sure I don't need to tell you how to do that. But I'm just going to stick a little bit of stock in. This is very heavy, by the way. I'm just going to stick a little bit of stock in just now. Okay, I'll stop for a minute. And then I shall put my broth mix in. Very easy to do this. All soups are easy. So I've now shown you 3 soups different ways. But I am going to tell you something. I'm doing this with chicken at the moment, but I'm not saying that's what you have to do it with. You know, I have made and do make broth with ham, you know, or sometimes I even have a bit of brisket, and I've even been known to do it, well, to use a bit of brisket. You know, so there's no hard and fast rule with stock you could use. Obviously, if you were a vegetarian, well, you can use vegetable stock. So what I'm now doing is I'm just giving it a mix. Can you just pan in this for a minute, Steve, till I show people? I'm now looking for what kind of thickness I'm getting here. Okay? Now it only needs to come to the boil now. But I'm kind of judging. Now that'll thicken up. That'll thicken up. But what I do like to do with my broth is I do like to add a little bit of extra lentils to it, and it's about 1/3 of that bag. I used it 3 times. I don't feel they put enough lentils in it, so I like to just add a little bit of lentil. Right, so that's that. I'm going to just add another little bit of stock up to about there, so you can see where I've taken this up to. And if you again just look at the thickness, Steve. Now that's going to go on, it's going to come to the boil, and it's going to go in there, smashing little back ring there, which you all know cooks away beautiful, and that's going to take about 2 hours. Sometimes you'll go in after 2 hours, and some of the peas can still be a little bit hard. I don't know why. Another time they're all soft. I don't know why it does it. But sometimes after 2 hours you'll think, oh, I'll just turn that off, and then you go and take a bowl. You think, God, some of the peas are still hard. But 2 hours should do it. The other thing I would recommend is after the 2 hours, obviously go in and stir it occasionally, every now and again, every sort of half hour or so, just go and take the lid off and give it a stir. But after 2 hours, if there is still a little bite in the peas, give them another 15-20 minutes and it should solve that problem. Some weeks you can do it for an hour and a half and it's perfect. but it just depends. It depends on the broth mix. So there you are. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to say. So there you go, John. There is how you make Scotch broth soup. When it's ready, I will come back and show you. So I'm now going to wait for this to come to the boil. I'm not going to put any more seasoning in it. I'm going to put the lid on it, put it in the back ring, 2 hours, I'll taste it. If it needs any seasoning, I'll add it. I shall keep this little bit of chicken stock that's left, and if it does get too thick, I shall add a little bit of the chicken stock back to it. So I hope I've kind of made all this really crisp and clear. But if you look back to any of the soups I've made, they all work on the same principle. So we will do other soups in the future that work differently. It is the winter time, it is time for eating soup, so those of you out there thinking, my God, you've done a lot of soups. Well, we do eat a lot of soup in the winter, Scottish people, so there you go. So, as I say, I'm sure I've covered everything. I'm going to leave it there, and when this comes to boil, I'm going to put it on, and then I shall come back later on and show you what it looks like when it's finished. So if you have been, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you on a bit later. Welcome back, people. Now, I just thought I'd pop back for a minute and show you the soup. It's coming to the boil. Now, you see this froth here that you get at the top? Whatever you want to call it. Some people call it scum. I think it's an awful word. But I've made sure I washed my broth mix thoroughly. But sometimes you do get this little bit. Now, when it's only a little bit like this, I would advise you just to leave it alone, because as the soup cooks, it dissipates and goes away. So I wouldn't bother. If it did bother you, just get a spoon and lift it off. So there's what it's like now. It's come to the boil, and we're now going to transfer that onto the cooker, lid on, onto the cooker, very low, and as I say, I shall stir it about every 20 minutes or so, and it'll take approximately 2 hours. So I just thought I would come back and show you that just quickly. So if you have been, thanks for watching. So welcome back, people, to the very last part of this vlog on my Scotch broth soup for, I think it was John Howard that asked me to show him. So this has now been cooking for about 2¼ hours. And I'm just going to show you the kind of thickness that you get. Okay. Now, you might think to yourself, well, that's quite thick, but I'm going to tell you something. When you leave this overnight, I'll let this cool and I'll put it in the fridge, and I can assure you overnight that'll really, really thicken up. But don't be tempted to put any water in it. When you heat it up, it'll thin back down again. But there is my beautiful Scotch broth soup. Now I'm going to just tell you something else quickly, Stephen, up this way. Soup freezes beautifully. So don't think, oh my God, you've made all that soup, what the hell am I going to do with it? We'll never eat it all. If you've got the little Chinese containers that you see me with, and the lids, they're a perfect portion. You'll get 3 ladles in them, and that's a perfect portion. You put them in the freezer, and you can heat them up from freezing out the freezer. So, you know, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Steve and I don't have to do that because we'll have a bit today. We might even have a bit tomorrow, and then we share it out between us and we take it home. So there you go. That's Scotch broth soup. Hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Continue to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, whatever, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye for now.